Oh, wait. I was thinking about that. At the concert, the flashlight the whole time, right? And then after the concert, they need an Uber, but their battery's dead.
Look at the people here to support you. We're so happy to be here. We have a lot of questions, but before that, we need to do something as a group, guys. It's Sean's birthday today. Can we sing him happy birthday? All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Sean. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you all so much. Thank you. See, honey, you put them in here, and then we're going to see them sit.
There's so many people who want to ask questions, let's jump right into questions.
Great, yeah.
Good. Okay, first question.
Is this on? Okay. Thank you for bringing the world's best fantasy to life for all of us. For each of you, but it's the same question. I want to know which of the extended editions of the trilogy is your favorite movie? I know this is a hard question.
It's my favorite.
The
Of all the films, and I think it's because of the fellowship and the building of that, the innocence in the first act of the film, where you really see the world before it gets really dangerous and dark. As you establish these characters, you get to spend time in Hobbiton, and then the journey takes forward. And then, you know, the sort of coming together of that fellowship is such an extraordinary thing. Before it, then it splinters off, and everyone kind of has their own function, and Frodo and Sam go away. So I don't know, I just don't think the fellowship is just, as a completed story, is maybe my favorite part.
For me, it would be Return of the King. Because Pippin saves Mary. He saves Gandalf. And ultimately saves the world. I know there was 2 other hobbits climbing up a hill or something.
More like a mound.
Yeah, just climbing up a mountain and killing.
I would also be Return of the King. Because Mary stabs the witch in me. Thus, saving the world. Whilst Pippin is hiding behind a castle wall crying to
No. No. Fighting the cave troll, Haldir coming with the elves to save Minas Tirith, and flying with the eagles on the way home. Take all that. Now that I'm this age, I'm very pushy.
Next question.
Okay. So about 10 years ago, I was able to meet Billy at a different con here in Atlanta. And Billy, you gave me the advice to tell the girl of my dreams how I felt about her. And I'm very lucky that now, 10 years later, I get to call her my wife.
God, really glad that I could be all
I'm gay. Where is she?
She's right over here.
Congratulations to the two of you.
Thank you very much. So my question is, there's so many amazing fans in this room. What are some of your favorite fan encounters that you've gotten to have over the years?
I mean, countless fan encounters. Lord of the Rings are deeply meaningful stories on an emotional and a psychological level. And so people who've gone through hard times in their life will come up and express what the books and what the movies meant to them during that hard time in their life. And it always feels nice to have played some small part in a project that people can hold in their hearts like that. So, and then other people want you to sign body parts that your wife says, no, you're not allowed to sign.
I've been around for some proposals, which has been fun. You know, when proposals have happened around me, or we're all lucky enough to be on this cameo act where people can book us to do stuff. And in that cameo act, I've been able to tell people that they're going to have a baby, or someone's going to propose, a big surprise type thing. I think those are probably my favorite experiences when you get a chance to do something a little unique and special.
Like Sean said, just to piggyback on that, I think, the most profound moments are when people are sharing their personal experience with you and what it is that you've done, and part of it in this case, a lot of it is in relation to Lord of the Rings, how that has affected them, how it has brought people together, how it has, is a thing that people share with their families and their friends, and also, yes, getting through dark times. It's, by extension, having been a part of something that has such a profound effect on people's lives, and how that can be shared with us is just extraordinary.
I have one that's kind of funny. People will ask you to help them propose, as Don was saying, and I have 3 daughters, so sometimes a guy will say, will you help me propose? And I'll look at him and think, I don't want to vouch for this guy. So I'll agree, but I put caveats in there, like, listen, if you're perfectly comfortable, if your family supports this, if you really done your background checks, and you put good time in, and it's safe, and like Mary, I don't know.
Next question, thank you.
I have a question for Elijah. Even though Lord of the Rings is epic fantasy, I think from Frodo's perspective, it can also be pretty accurately described as psychological horror. Because there are scenes like him dropping into the water and seeing death faces, but even beyond that, I think his story is very much one of trauma and mental deterioration, and I know a lot of people struggling with mental illness, including myself, really relate to that character because of that. And because you are so well versed in horror film, my question is, if there is a darker, more gruesome horror version of Lord of the Rings, who do you think should direct it?
Whoa, that's not where I expected that question. Thank you. Amazing question. What a great question. Wow, a dark horror version. Who would direct it? I mean, obviously, Peter Jackson's background is in horror, and there's a lot of that in the movie. I mean, Sam Raimi comes to mind, which is sort of a notch of what, because it feels like Sam and Peter sort of started in the same place, and then Peter veered away from horror a little bit. But yeah, I don't know, something about the Sam Raimi version of Lord of the Rings, a little bit gory and fucked up and homemade would be kind of amazing. I'd like to see that. I don't know that it's the dark psychological horror though. That's maybe Cronenberg's maybe too much. Carpenter. Can you imagine a John Carpenter? That would be on on big anamorphic lenses. Oh, that'd be awesome.
Wes Craven if he was alive.
Wes Craven would be cool. All right, next question.
So I know that the Battle of Helm's Deep is notorious for being one of the most ridiculously hard scenes to film. And if you still weren't involved in that, I want to know what the most difficult scene for you guys was to film.
I know for you. We were filming in a parking lot, and they put a little thin film of water on the ground, like in a little basin, and we're just meant to be walking through. You would have thought he was being tortured on a rack or something. It was really cold out. It was, to be fair, it was really cold out, and his Hobbit feet popsicleized. They
It's so cool. There was a night shoot, wasn't it? And I'm not good at night shoots anyway. I just want to go to bed. And it's like 4 in the morning, and my feet are icicles. And I thought, this is the first time I'm ever going to have to say, I can't go on.
Exactly how he said it. When you're on a long journey, to get rid of the ring, you have mates, and there are moments where you can't help them. There's things that are going on, and you can't help them. And I was looking at him, and I thought, he's freezing to death. He's going to have hypothermia, and there was nothing I could do.
Yeah. And they were doing things like getting heaters and stuff that I put my feet on, but the break would maybe be 15 minutes. And it would just start to heat up, and they go, okay, we're going again. And then we go into this cold, and it would just freeze. It was awful.
Oh, I was loving it. No, it was brilliant because a few weeks earlier I had this iconic splinter moment with my foot, which was really genuinely a medical emergency, I think. The local police have been called, and the Coast Guard, there's big things on the news. I think the splinter was made of titanium.
It
was small but sharp, and it wasn't visible. It wasn't visible. You couldn't see it. It went so deep because you could barely see
I never
it.
knew what a constable was, but then a constable come out, right?
Yeah, and Billy especially was laughing his face off with pain.
Because he's doing a real one that went right through his foot, and it was blood, and it was awful. And then I think we wanted to join in, but yours was rubbish.
The shorts were so big, you couldn't actually get into the foot because mine was so small. I felt it like in my heart ventricles.
I remember another day actually, my sister came over to visit, and we were doing the scene, when Pippin picks up the Palantir and Gandalf grabs it off him, and you kind of get an image of, oh, I'd like to see that again. And it was filmed in a car park in Wellington, and they just made a pool, a swimming pool, and we were all, or whoever was there, Hobbit-wise, were on our knees to make it look like it was deeper than it was, so we're up to there. And everyone else was on horses, Gandalf and Legolas and everyone. And I thought, this is a great scene for my sister to see because it's quite, it's kind of Pippin doing a lot of stuff and there's horses and all that. And there was a break and she's sitting with a cup of tea. And I went over and I said, what do you think? It's good, isn't it, watching a film getting made? And she says, do you know that those horses are shitting in that water? And we were up to there. And then they said, okay, we're going again.
I thought the catering department had gave us some brownies or something. As they floated by, I was just...
The horse kept stepping on my hobbit foot, carrying off the toes of the hobbit feet. But to be fair, I think my foot injury was bad.
Yeah.
But Elijah had consistently the most bloody feet like you. I think so. I think they were constantly. The thing is, you were 19 and nothing seemed to bother you. So, yeah, your feet were always bloody. That's what I remember.
The first feet that they made for me were too small. So every time I had a break, I remember having to hold the big toe and go, oh, and just stretch it out, Yeah. And then
An old pair would do that too. They tried to stretch a pair a couple extra days. It would
Had to try. Oh! So for 2 years, we're wearing hobbit feet, and they're wonderfully designed, soft cushion bottoms, but they're not very, what is the word? Good for your feet, not ergonomic, but they're just not very, they're not supportive. So so you'd sit so as not to ruin the feet for 4 or 5 hours, and then they'd say, okay, run up the hill. And you run up the shale hill, and then your feet would get cut, and your ankles would get cut, and then they would repair your feet. They put alcohol on it, and then Yeah, and then they would put makeup on the alcohol, and then you'd sit for a long time. So, runners generally stretch, don't they? I had my Achilles tendon started clicking. And I went, thank you! Because they were so tired of my complaining that I'm like, you guys, listen, my Achilles are clicking. And they were like, I hear it, it's clicking, whatever. So finally, Richard Taylor, the wonderful special effects, you guys all know who Richard Taylor is, right? Yeah. So Richard Taylor comes to the truck or whatever, and he says, well, show me. And I stand up on the box, and I move, and it's going click, click, click. And he said, well, I think it's catching, the tendon's catching on this little piece of the bone. And I said, I don't think it's supposed to do that. And he said, okay, well, we'll put a little lift in the heel. You put a little lift in the heel? I don't know. I haven't been able to walk to this day. Yeah, I don't know. But it was a federal case with the feet.
Thank you for your question.
Nathan?
We could do like 5 or 6 hours just on the feet.
Oh, easy. Well, one of the bigger hazards with the feet is that if you were sweating, it would melt the glue underneath your feet. So the attachment at the bottom of the latex foot to your actual foot would loosen and come detached. And if you would walk or run, you would slip and stand.
Yes, now imagine that phenomenon is occurring, and you walk up a volcano, and you get to the top of the volcano, and they say, you're going to stand on this steep ledge, where if you fall to your death. But don't worry, we have a harness, and we're going to put a cable on you. But your feet are still slipping. And then they say, now this little guy, we call him Frodo, is going to go on your shoulders. You can't put a cable on him because it'll hurt your head, or it'll be seen, or something like that. So I remember with Elijah on my back like this, with a hill, with my feet slipping. And I'm just like, it would be so good. Whoop, there goes Frodo. All the way. And your feet are you're digging into the rubber, trying to, they're like, cut, that was good. I'm like, okay.
Those were intense days for us.
So I got this tiny little splinter. One day, last week, talking about the sweat, I got toothache, went to the dentist in full costume, must have look weird to the dentist, said, do you need a billing? And I said, oh, well, I've got lines this afternoon. I said, can you do it without numbing my... Yeah. And she was like, well, maybe go with the drill. And she was like, and I was like, oh, and I was sweating so much my feet fell off.
So I'm sitting in the Rivendell set, and Tammy, who was one of the special effects makeup people with the feet and stuff, we're sitting together, and I actually have my Lord of the Rings book as if I'm going to be reading it in this serene, elven environment. And they're over, the Hobbits are over there, and I don't know who else was there, but a little wind picked up, and then a large elven loom fell over and knocked me out. Yeah.
Did you actually
Knocked out.
You were knocked out.
Let me put it this way. I could hear a crack, like it was almost like a cricket bat on a wall, like crack, and I could feel my chin in my chest, and then I looked up and people were lifting it off of me. So they were a good 30 feet away. So I was definitely out from the time. And the good thing is, I was taller, sort of bigger than Tammy, so I took the weight of it. That's chivalry. And then I went to the, well, it was funny because, so we wanted to get this one shot with us before I left. The wigs, the way they put the wigs on, first they twist your hair all over with little rubber bands, and then they put the wig on and they put the pin through the wig lace, through the rubber band to anchor it down, and then they glue the wig lace down like this. The bruise on the swelling on my head was like this, and it was pulling. Yeah. And I'm like, is it okay? Can you shoot? Now the upshot was, this is the part they don't ever believe, but it's absolutely true. I went to the, whatever you call it, neurologist and got a little scan or something, and he said that I had the largest brain he'd ever seen.
So it wasn't about his head.
Potato.
Hobbits. We got 20 minutes. Let's try and race through as many
We've only had 3 questions.
We got to keep going. I got this tiny little splinter. Let's just speak.
Thank you all for being here today. And again, happy birthday, Sean. What was your relationship like with your fellow co-stars after the Lord of the Rings ended?
Good.
Excellent.
I was on a flight with Vigo 3 years later, and we didn't talk because we didn't see each other, and then when we were walking off the jetway, he gave me a book. Can't remember.
The honest answer to that question is, look, what we went through together, it linked us as family for the rest of our lives. The fellowship was a real thing, and years can go by and they don't see each other. That's not the case with us so much, but with other members of the cast, and we'll run into them and it's like no time has passed. I mean, it really is an extraordinary thing that we all experience together. They're an incredible group of people and will be family forever.
Except for John Rhys Davies. What's wrong with that guy?
I heard he's going to do a convention soon.
And I hope I get to hear from him. We love John.
He's got my favorite
Thank you.
signature. It's a beautiful signature.
Sean, I have a question for you. There's a debate, people reach on this, and the only person who answered, in Return to the King, when you have the ring, and Frodo asks for it, and for a brief moment, Frodo's like, Sam, and you hesitate. Are you hesitating because you are being tempted, or are you hesitating because you know the burden you're about to give back to your friend?
I love this question.
17 minutes, Sean. 17 minutes.
Philippa was there kind of directing that scene too. Fred and Philippa. Peter didn't direct that, I don't think, if my memory serves. And she said, because I would hand it back to him, and you're handing him something, it's everything, right? Like you get to complete the mission, and it's, this hurts you, and everything else. And she said, do one like you want to keep it. And I said, no. She goes, well, just so we can have it. I said, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do it. Sam would not want to keep it. No. She goes, just give us one. So the tape that they used, first of all, was a bad hair day, a bad wig day. So when you look at it, you're like, that hair doesn't look right. And I'm at war with the direction I've been given. But there's no way that, as far as I'm concerned, I wanted to keep it for me. I was holding it like I didn't want him to be hurt with it. Period. And
Next question. First of all, I'm a big fan of The Lord of the Rings, and so is my mom. She's in her late 70s. And I want to know what's it like working with Ian McKellen, known as Gandalf. She's a big fan of him too.
Magneto's hilarious. Ian McKellen, what's it like working with him?
Yeah, Ian's a one-off. I mean, Ian was like, there's so many great stories about Ian, but I mean, very often dressed head to toe in Prada, from the hat down to the shoes, dressed to the nines. We were all young kids at the time. I was 23, Elias was 18, he was in his early 30s. We were all partying a lot. Sean had a wife and a lovely young daughter, so he wasn't out with us that much. But Elijah and I would be DJing in a lot of places and out until 2, 3, sometimes in the morning. Ian McKellen, often there, asking for gangster rap. Could you play some gangster rap? Enjoyed himself, and then after a few kind of months of that happening, he approached us one day and said, I'm coming to all of these straight bars with straight guys, and as a proudly gay man, I would like it if maybe you could come and hang out with, my friends and see the life that I'm living. And we were like, kind of iffy on it, like, sounds okay, like, it's not really our scene, but we'll do it. So we went one Friday night, myself, Billy, Orlando, Elijah, and a as well, Sean? Nice. I'm sorry, Sean, to not include you. I guess we weren't quite sure if we were going to fit in that well. And Billy tells a great story that he went to get a drink from the bar, and when he turned around, Orlando and I were on a table with our shirts off, just waiting. Yeah, great night.
Great answer. So, next question.
Hey guys, thank you for being here. I can't be the only one who thought when we were singing Happy Birthday and Elijah knelt down, saying, no, you bow to no one. But my question to you guys is, what is your favorite line from any of the series?
Well, I alluded to it earlier. By the way, the answer to this question will change if someone asks it again in 2. So, we've come to honor the alliance of elves and men. That line of How Theirs makes me cry every time I see it. You're in Atlanta. This is a convention.
I think the quote of Frodo talking to Sam and saying, there's also, remember, Samwise the Brave, and Frodo wouldn't have gotten very far without Sam. And I think the acknowledgement of Frodo to Sam about the function that Sam played and the heroism of Samwise is so beautiful and important.
Everyone always asks me that question, but if you look at the beginning of that scene, Sam says, do you think we'll ever be put in songs or tales? So it's on his mind.
I like the moments on films where you don't expect a line to become. Some lines you get and you go, oh, that's great, that's a lovely, moment. But so the one is the, what about second breakfast? Even on the day it was a throwaway, it was starting to snow, we didn't have time to film it, and then, it was quoted on Air Force One.
And do you guys know, and I didn't know this until a few weeks ago, Philippa Boyens told me this, second breakfast does not appear in the books.
What? Yeah.
It is not in the books. It is something that was written by Philippa Boyens and Fran Walsh. And it's a very Hobbity thing. We came up with that.
You look at the reactions of my friends in the room here. It's about the universality of eating. Like, why do we love potatoes so much? Look at me, I'm not a potato, I'm not shy about my potato. Something about movies that celebrate eating. I don't know, it's a pretty...
Also, obviously it's an iconic line, and like Billy said, there's certain lines that you know are going to pop, and I think we all kind of figured that this line was going to pop, but the way that Vigo delivers the line, my friend should bow to no one, and as if he's slightly overwhelmed himself by what's happened, it's like, no, that's not what's going on here, that always gives me chills. Yeah. And then it's a line where it's in a world filled with mirth and magic, you lose time on yourself. I think it's a Frodo line. It's like you don't really hear it that much.
I remember a German.
We can move on, but that's yes.
Guys, is everybody in this along here waiting to ask a question?
Yes, Sean.
Elijah is terrible at speed rounds.
Go ahead.
Hi, I'm David, and I've just been a really big fan of the Lord of the Rings series, and I just want to ask you, what was your favorite scene in filming the entire series?
I love, this changes all the time too, by the way, but I loved the filming of and the subsequent viewing of the Cave Troll battle sequence in Mines of Moria. It was a blast to shoot. The comedy bit with you and the skeleton is fucking incredible. And I just remember those days in there being joyful and fun, and all of us were together, which was pretty rare, that we would all be in the same mood. And it was just fantastic.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
It was like guy with the tennis ball on a stick. That was the game troll for us, just a guy who
It was so fun and funny, and I just really,
Sam gets to kiss Rosie Cotton.
Good times. No, sorry, that was Billy and Dino. Sorry.
Next question.
Well, thank you for being here, and thank you for your performances in all the movies. It means a lot to me. I find myself quoting all of you actually in different phases of my life. I also do it with the great Sir Ian McKellen in my house with my kids. Sometimes if they're acting up, I'll say, "You shall not pass." Imaginary set. And I'm wondering if any of you could swap with someone else who performed in any of the movies, who would you play?
I couldn't do it. It's funny, we've had this question over the years, and occasionally I'll say something like, Gollum or Smeagol, because I think reading the books, especially The Hobbit, my introduction to Gollum, it's a favorite character from the Riddles of the Dark is an extraordinary chapter. But I can't imagine the experience, and I can't imagine the films without everyone who was cast in their individual role, who embodied those characters so perfectly.
That's a good answer. Well done.
You said that Lord of the Rings meant so much to you at this stage of your life, and you also, I thought you were going to say Chevy Chase's Vacation. Oh no, other characters. I always wanted to be Vico's character. I always wanted to be Eric. Yeah. Right? Swarthy. Good with a sword. Just saying.
Thanks. Thank you.
Next question.
Hi. Lord of the Rings means a lot to me and my mom. We enjoy it a lot together, along with a lot of other things. And our question is, do you think there will ever be a Lord of the Rings themed convention like they do for Star Wars or Game of Thrones? Would you be willing to come all together?
I would be happy to show up. A dedicated Lord of the Rings convention.
You might have to produce one.
There are thousands of people who brought those movies to life. And a convention that can celebrate every facet of the filmmaking process, where you have, technicians from both on the digital side and the physical effects side. And it would be amazing to celebrate all of it.
People can meet in the orcs. We could have people that. It's a great idea.
Great idea.
I'm going to organize it. You think you can play Aragon, but I can't organize a convention?
I said I wanted to play Aragon, so I think you could want to organize it. My money's on her to be able to do it.
Yeah.
5 minutes.
Thank you.
This question is to each of you in regards to not only the trilogy, but also in regards to the professor who basically dedicated his entire life to creating this. And in terms of us, like each of us in this room, we're all going to be gone in 100 years' time, but what you guys did is going to be forever. So how does it feel to you to have been part of something that impactful?
We are immortal.
I don't tend to think about that too much.
I thought about it at the Oscars, the third Oscars when The Lord of the Rings won for Best Picture. And when it won, I had that it's okay if I don't do anything else with my career for the rest of my life. I've achieved something that is immortal and everything else. And it was the Kodak Theater, then it was the Dolby Theater. They have these pillars. And on the pillars, they have the names of all the Best Picture winners. And I remember thinking, it's on a pillar, right? It's permanent. Well, like 2 years later, they took the names off. Rebuilt the thing, the pillars will be gone. So I'm not 100% sure about the immortality thing. I think the fact that, like I said before, that so many people have been moved by it, you know, if that continues, then that's beautiful. But I feel like, I don't know, I feel like it's a trick. Somebody's playing a trick on one's consciousness to be thinking in terms of immortality. I think we have plenty of evidence of rulers and others who time got the better of. So you never know if the technology. Right now, it seems like digital will last forever, but who knows?
Things move on very quickly. You know, it's a shame. That's true. You know, if you ask the average 13, 14-year-old kid on the street, name the Beatles. Most kids, I don't think, could name the Beatles. Yeah, it's important for some generations. Other generations are just kind of phases out. You know, I don't know if you guys are aware, the apprentices, Harry and Pippin, after everything's, you know, calms down and there's carrying the Shire and they go to visit their families and all that kind of stuff, they go off and they go and see Aragorn. And Merry and Pippin are actually buried with Aragorn. And we've been pitching to Ego in our actual deaths. And like to be just laid next to him. How brilliant I am, 100% him. Ego, I would say probably 12, 13%.
He said Mary and Pippin were fans of the Beatles and the appendices.
Over my dead body, he said, we were like, well, that's actually.
I said, no, I'm out. I'm 100% out. He said, well, we'll keep asking.
Yeah, okay. You're taking that name for us.
We have time, guys. We have time for one more question. One more question.
Who are these people?
Sorry,
Sorry,
never hear those questions. Never hear them.
I just had a new idea for how to do a speed round.
Go on.
Everyone yell out your question at the same time. I've never done that before.
Think that over?
Oh, come on, we've got 2 minutes.
Shout out Sean from the Pillar Pisces.
I've heard all these stories. Are you guys okay?
This is a good idea. I agree.
We're going to give the last question right here. Go ahead.
Thank you. I'm a theater teacher and we're studying ensemble making and being an ensemble together. So I was wondering, when did you guys first feel that you came together as a cast, as 4 Hobbits, as the center of the story?
Can I take this one and answer very quickly?
No.
When the planes landed.
Oh, really? Mine was the hot tub line. Remember the bubbly hot tub line? One of those that you don't know. Big, massive, kind of kidney-shaped hot tub. And we had big bubbles in there. And I think half of it was water and half of it was champagne. And we all got completely out of our minds. Woke up in the morning with our underpants on our head. That was when I felt like we all bubbled.
The only
It
thing
it happened relatively quickly. We were prior to shooting, as many probably know, we were in New Zealand for 2 months prior to shooting in preparation for the film. And in that 2 months, we spent all of our time together, rehearsing, dialect coach, a variety of various trainings. And in that, we were joined at the hip.
The cave troll
So fast.
The cave troll sequence is when we knew we were a team. Everyone was together. Everyone was coordinating the stunts.
What about that boat race in the bathtubs? There's a boat race in Wellington Harbor with bathtubs as the boats.
I would just.
I would have failed.
Yeah,
Did you? I failed.
well, I know cheated, obviously. And
There is photographs. There are photographs from that day.
Not only that, it's on a pillow. And it's